That's pretty much what this episode is kind of initially starts off. Awareness. There's people bringing awareness to problems, and then what's the next step?
Yeah.
So, Taj, you know what? Since me and you can maybe have a combative idea or a difference of opinions on this matter, I want you to go ahead and start off when it comes to how you feel with Jay-Z and this partnership with.
I mean, I don't know if we have much of. I don't think I've made my opinion known on the issue very well, but I think initially when I seen that he had done some type of deal with the NFL, I thought that he was going to be some type of partner, which I think that's what it is. He's going to eventually be a part owner in some football team. He is great. I don't know why Jay-Z would not want to be in that area. I don't know why he wouldn't take the deal, why he wouldn't take a deal with the NFL. I heard, so I think it was, I don't know who I heard say this. I think it was Killer Mike said that Jay-Z is a capitalist. Of course, he's going to try to make money, wherever he can. But what I'm really saying is, what other black person is partnered with the NFL right now? I can't name any that come to mind right now. It's just like, I know a lot of people are kind of calling him a sellout. But I just think that they should kind of take a step back and realize that we are just falling right into the cycle again, where we are going at Jay-Z for being a black person who is partnered with the NFL, which is one of the biggest sports organizations, the biggest sports organization in the world.
And you can't have both. You can't be complaining that no black people are represented, and then at the same time, when a black person is represented, be mad that a black person's represented.
Exactly.
But keep going, Taj.
I think that people should go and listen to the interview that they all did. I think it was amazing. They had I don't know if you guys got to see the whole interview. It was like a 40-minute thing. They had so many African American journalists, radio hosts, people who I didn't even know there. They invited them to come in and ask all the questions that they wanted to ask, and they asked a lot of questions. I don't think they answered all the questions as good as I think that they could have or should have. But they had the conversation. And that is, that's what I want to do. Especially
even more to that, though, Taj. Even more to that. Not only did they have the conversation, but think about it. The NFL could have sent any person in that organization to hold the meeting. Who was front and center sitting right next to Jay-Z?
I don't remember who was sitting right next to him. I remember
Roger Goodell, the main guy in the NFL. He was sitting right next to him. If he was there, then that wasn't just a ploy to satisfy the masses. That was something. He's a busy man. If he's involved in that was something.
Yeah, it really is a big.
It's a huge deal.
I'm gonna hold off on kind of my take on it because I really do want to hear Cody's take.
Yeah, Cody, you're good to go, man. That was basically what I wanted to say.
Yeah, well, my take isn't complicated. Hell, I kind of coming out quite often. Anybody that's complaining about Jay-Z, shut the hell up. No, but serious, man. Jay-Z, so I can use a great example. I want to say it was 2 years ago. Jay-Z was offered to do the Super Bowl show for the NFL. And what did he do? He turned it down. So let me tell you, this ain't all about capitalism, right? He turned it down. This is at the height. This is at the height of the Kaepernick thing. It's at the very top, at the climax of what it's going to be. And he turned it down, right? He think about all the revenue you get from that. People go and watch a halftime show. Whatever song they just heard, they instantly go to a platform and they search it and stream that song. You know what I mean? He could have made so much money off of the halftime show, but he turned that down because he just knew, like, hey, you know what? I feel, which I can't say that, but I feel that he felt that, you know what? The awareness isn't yet to where it needs to be. Okay? So that was in 2017. Also in 2017, about 6 to 7 months after he denied that, September, October, whenever it was, 17, the NFL vouched to donate $89 million to poor black communities, to awareness, to involvement in communities, and the list goes on and on. But $89 million. So
Hold
they
on,
did
the
that in
NFL or Jay-Z?
the NFL.
Okay.
The NFL, the organization, the main guy in the was Malcolm Jenkins, who was along with Kaepernick. He played Philadelphia Eagles, and he did knee as well. He did do the knee, but he said, "Hey, you know what? You guys do this because again, remember the protest is just to hear my voice. Protest isn't my action. That's not what I'm here to do. That's not the action. The protest is just the voice." But yeah, the NFL. It was in November actually of 2017. Donated $89 million to poor communities, majority African American. So they did that. So again, progression, getting towards something. We're getting better than it was before. Post knee, post Kaepernick, right? So again, Jay-Z turned down the halftime show. Proves that to me that
What year? What year did you say that he turned down the halftime show?
He turned down the halftime show February of 2017, and then in October of 2017, the NFL reached to where they're going to donate $89 million. Yeah,
You might
you know
want
what I
to
mean.
share a link.
Okay, sounds good. I can do that.
Because that's good content.
Yeah, it's great because people don't. You know what I'm saying? These guys are getting here. They're saying, well, the NFL, they weren't doing that. But when Kaepernick did that knee, it was the right thing to do because it did bring the awareness. But like my man Jay-Z said, past now it's time to put actions. You got to put, again, like you said, we need representation if you want something.
Yeah.
You're cutting out again, Cody.
So I did really enjoy that as far as Jay-Z. To me, that does prove something. Jay-Z did take over.
Cody, over. Okay, I'm gonna jump in, but Cody, you're breaking up just a little bit, man. So I want to make sure that I formulate this idea where it makes sense. But by doing that, I want to start with an interview that I just happened to come across when I was supposed to be working, but instead I was playing on social media. So y'all know how I do. But I came across I think it was Dame Dash. He had an interview recently, and he says something that one is well known within the rap community, but two, if you pay attention to like certain people like 50 Cent, for example, you pick up on this too. And it's the idea that Jay-Z is an opportunist. He's manipulative. He's not necessarily well respected when it comes to people who are in the rap game or in the streets. The reason why that's important to say is because the way I look at Jay-Z's decisions, it's, in a way, to put it in a metaphor, it's like when you see a girl who's in a relationship with a guy and the guy just tells her what she wants to hear, you know what I'm saying? She's getting played and stuff. Jay-Z is a player, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he does. So for him to turn down the Super Bowl performance, to me, he understands that by doing that, there's going to be a negative repercussion if he does it. It's not based on the money. It's based on strategy. Jay-Z is a very smart guy. I've read a few of the books that Jay-Z reads, and it talks about strategy and timing and different things like that. I don't think we need to give him kind of this moral high ground in his position or his decisions that he's made. I do think we need to look at it from an opportunist kind of perspective, where it's like, okay.
But Josh, you preach it, and I'm going to cut you off.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna go into the whole Dame Dash situation.
Yeah, I mean, we could, but it's not necessarily about Dame Dash.
But that's biased, though. They've always had a beef. I heard somebody else talking about. They were the exact opposite. They were saying he was doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Dame
but
Dash, he's a music producer. He's always been oppositional towards Jay-Z.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. That's definitely fair to get out there. What I do want to kind of bring out of that situation, though, is that the Jay-Z is very strategic. He's a very smart guy. So, like,
agree.
Whenever we talk about strategy, the trick with marketing and strategy is the idea that, like, for people to refuse your business is going to hurt them more than if they were to accept your business.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Jay-Z notices those opportunities there. He's not moving off of a moral position. He's moving off of the idea that, like, okay, if you disagree with me, then that's just going to hurt you more. So you'll have to agree with me because you have no other choice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
No, 100%. And it's not that I disagree with that, but we've had this conversation as well. So tell me what you think about this. So even if his motive isn't exactly what you would want it to be, if
yeah.
there's good and great and amazing things that come from it, what do we do?
Yeah, and so I like that you bring that up. This is something that me and Cody were discussing prior and stuff. So I hate to go into like what I study and stuff. So like the perspective I gave you guys just shortly there is what I would consider more of a sociological perspective. It's more focused on like how it affects people and the decisions that they're making and stuff. But the perspective that Cody is bringing up kind of draws on the economic side. And so like when I look at it from an economic standpoint, the results from what Jay-Z is doing is positive for the black culture. So for us to push against it might actually be a bad decision. Somebody just mentioned ethos, and I like that because that's I believe that's the term for a more of a moral and emotional perspective on a topic. And so, yeah, when we look at it from a moral or emotional standpoint, um, we can't give Jay-Z the moral high ground in that situation. But when we look at it from a logical and a reasonable standpoint, it might be a good thing to support Jay-Z because it furthers our narrative or our agenda for the black community a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's such a masterful strategy for Jay-Z to do this, and the timing that he's doing it is because we're kind of caught between choosing between which somebody just mentioned ethos versus logos, which is something you guys can like kind of look up and get an understanding on. Definitely agree with.
We got smart people in the chat now.
Yeah,
Man.
I definitely agree with that perspective, though. And that's literally what we're dealing with right now with Jay-Z is decide between your emotions or your logic, and whichever one you want to weigh more to is what's going to decide if you disagree or agree with Jay-Z.
So I wanna jump in before you jump in. I wanna ask a question about moral standing. Keep saying that you can give him a pass on the morals, but
Yeah.
what is the moral part of this?
So like once again, like if we were to look at the metaphor of like a player, whenever a guy does a girl wrong, for example, and then he goes into that spiel of "I'm sorry, I'm never going to do that again" type stuff. Um, it sounds good, but it's not necessarily a logical decision for that person to accept that. So like with Jay-Z, he's trying to position himself in a moral situation.
Okay, so he's trying to position
and we
himself like
shouldn't
he's trying to move social justice.
Yeah, it looks like that
forward.
We shouldn't accept it though. What we should accept, however, is the logical position of how can we utilize Jay-Z to improve the circumstances that are going on. Obviously, the Kaepernick situation had a massive effect, but I think that that's kind of a, a path that's going to end. If it's not ended at this point, it's going to end. So Jay-Z being that next lever to lift to actually move things in a way where we've been trying to push towards, it might actually make sense to have Jay-Z in that position.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question for you and Cody.
Okay.
You guys feel that Jay-Z, I mean, I don't know, maybe we need to define this term. I feel like especially African Americans use this term sellout a lot. So what I want to know is, one, do you guys feel like Jay-Z sold out? And
No.
And also, like,
Good
I don't know.
answer.
I want to kind of understand what this phrase, sellout means exactly.
So
Which is basically like, what my opinion under that, this person is basically either stepping over or disregarding the rest of his culture to
for his own
for
profit.
his own profit and gain.
Yeah, so like
100%.
the kind of the roots to the idea of a black person selling out the black culture is the idea of what we would consider during the time of slavery, where one slave would set up another slave or make
Samuel Jackson and Django.
And Django, Samuel Jackson and Django.
Sammy and Django, though, he was ruthless.
Yeah, and so for those who may not fully understand the concept of that, like a sellout is somebody who, like during the slave days, if a slave would rat on another slave or try to get another slave in trouble to benefit from it, then they were considered a sellout. How does that translate into what we're seeing right now? I think that there's a conflation between the issues of slavery and the issues of capitalism right now. So we tend to try to put everybody under the same umbrella, and I think it's a terrible and not very smart decision to do so. There's too much nuance for us to be conflating issues of slavery and slaves like doing each other wrong to like avoid punishment and different things like that versus capitalism and a market. You know what I'm saying? So like the idea is Jay-Z a sellout? That question, that's a good question. I don't think so, because we're in a different time period. We're in a different market. We're in a different system. There's so much that's different that we have to like account for before we can really call somebody a sellout.
Agreed.
And we shouldn't be conflating ideas of capitalism to slavery. When we do that, that's such a terrible thought process that it bothers me to my core for real. But I see it a lot with and truthfully, I'm gonna be real, I see it a lot with the black culture. And I think that that's something where we as a black culture need to like reevaluate and address some kind of fundamental flaws with that issue.
Man, so you just said a lot, man. And there's a lot that I want to counteract. The whole moral thing, I don't want to drive too, but I actually looked at it the same way, Josh. However, I had felt a different spectrum of it. I had felt like, hey, so ignore that. I felt like he was doing the wrong thing morally. And I ignore that. So I don't think that he felt like he was doing the right thing to make him look so morally. And I felt like the action put him on the ethical and the moral low ground. However, I look at what's going to happen from them actions, and then that's what makes me say that's okay. Earlier, when I was talking about how Jay-Z and how he turned on the halftime show, that is part of my proof that he isn't a sellout. Because he would have made more money doing that than he is going to do this, I would imagine.
In the short run.
In the short run, that is true. I did think about that too. Over years, he probably would accumulate a little bit more doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
However, in the short run of things, but remember, sellout, that's just not just a one word definition. Like that's a whole person. If he was a sellout, he would have sold out right then and didn't do that. Again, another reason to back back Jay-Z not being a sellout. Remember when Black Lives Matter, all that was happening? Everybody was getting arrested. Jay-Z spent $1.5 million bonding out protesters. So he's with the cause. He's with the movement. And even in that interview, he literally explains.
I mean, that's what I call manipulation, though.
I know, but
it could be manipulation.
I know, but listen. But
Taj, you're correct. Taj is saying that it could be or it could not be, and I agree.
But it could be if you're the nigga that own Amazon. No, he gave him 1.5 million, bro. Yeah, and it is Jay-Z, so he is stupid rich, and yes.
Yeah, however, like that doesn't matter to me how much he gave. Like the more he gave, the more he gave. All right, so Cody, like let me put you into a situation, okay? You meet somebody, and that person is like constantly giving you compliments. I know you met people like that constantly give you compliments and constantly are like hyping you up. You ever like feel like that person's up to something, or they're like, you know what I'm saying, or they're doing something that seems a little manipulative.
100%. However,
so to me,
Josh,
the
this is not a good
relation,
analogy, though. That's
hold
not
on,
a good
Cody.
analogy.
The relationship is the fact that like the more he gives, the more I might actually question it. You know what I'm saying? The more he compliments that situation, the more I might question it. So I don't care how much he
bro,
gives.
you didn't use this. You can't use that, bro. You gotta
Cutting
say,
out, Cody.
okay,
We can't hear
Cody,
you.
can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
I'm saying you can't use that analogy like that. First off, you said if someone meets me and just say nice things. No, let somebody meet me and give me
How you gonna
1.5
downplay?
million. Let someone meet me and give me 1.5 million.
You wouldn't question that? You wouldn't be like, okay,
What?
what's their motive?
What?
They like 50 Cent, they gonna be over there hit you up, talk about where's my money. Boy,
Hey.
like you already know.
Hey, what? What? I'm sure. Hey, I'll deal with 50 for 1.5.
You ain't dealing with 50 for 1.5. You better pull up his 1.5. You better give 50 his 1.5. All right, Michael Blackson over there pulling out ones right now, talking about 50. I got your money.
You got, bro. And again, if he stands on that moral ground,
Motherfuckers gotta stop borrowing money from 50. First of all,
stop borrowing money from 50. That's the moral of the story.
Hey, you can't even shoot this man. This man got shot 9 times. You ain't gonna get away from
dying.
that.
He been stabbed and shot. He ain't dying. You better give him his money.
But oh man, y'all kill me. That's funny. Hey, 1.5 million, bro. That's all I can say is come on. Does that not show commitment?
That's a lot
that
of
does not show
commitment
to me, man. Like if you want to show commitment to
he
me, then do something.
He could have
like
200,000. We'd have been like, damn it. 1.5 million. A million, 1.5.
So there are,
I don't care. I don't even care. Like to me, like when I think about the money, I'm thinking about that's only to like reinforce some value that could be more manipulative. Like think again, going back to the metaphor. Whenever the guy does the girl wrong, all right, what's the first level? He's going to apologize, right? What's the second level? He's going to provide a gift for her. What's the third level? He's going to buy her ass a new car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's levels to it. And to me, that's just a higher level of a possible manipulation. Not saying it is.
If he gives her 1.5 million, say he's never cheating again. If he gave her 1.5 million.
How much was that ring that Kobe gave his wife? Because that might be 1.5. That might be 1.5.
That was totally uncalled for. Stop.
Yeah. I got mad respect for Kobe. I don't like his fans, but I do like Kobe. All right.
That's funny.
So he don't like you, Cody.
Man, I know what he said. I heard him nice and loud.
Cody, I know what he said.
No, but hey, real talk though, man. When it comes to Jay-Z, I feel like I can give a good explanation of it. But if you just watch that video when he says it, because I've been taught that in the past 2 to 3 years. It's like they always preach whatever you think about, you can get done. Whatever your mindset, and there is truth to it. However, it takes action steps. It takes the mindset and the actions to actually achieve.
True.
So now, does Jay-Z get a benefit from that? Duh. Why else would he do it? That's why. That's part of the reason he did it. And that's why you should do it. If you didn't, I would have told you myself, don't do it, Jay. Hey, ho. Nuh-uh. That's 99 problems. That ain't yours. Over there. Don't do it. So he does get benefit from it. But again, what is the total effect? Does he get paid? Yeah. Is it going to bring awareness? Is it going to put someone in a place of power where we need it? Yes. So I'm okay with it because, again, I thought he was more for doing it. But when I thought about the outcome, I was like, but hey, look at this. And then I got to thinking, and then I started watching. I watched Kaepernick and Eric Reed and all these people talk down about them, man.
You probably got to look at all the, not only all the charity events that he helped sponsor, as well as the
and you're right. He's done some great things.
All the other advocacy work that he's, not to mention whatever that Beyonce has done. Well, that's his wife.
Hold on. So Dane brought this up, but I agree. I'm not. You know me, Cody. Don't try to play me like I'm gonna be biased like that.
I know what you're about to say with Dane.
No. What I'm gonna say is what he brought up because I can't take credit for it like it's my own idea. But
he brought up how he has Beyonce next to him. Blah blah blah.
Beyonce next to you saves you. There's no doubt about that. Like
I know, but Beyonce didn't happen until 2005.
Yo, look though.
Jay-Z was
we're
already
talking about 2019 though. We're talking about 2019.
I know, but we're already talking. But even without Beyonce, he's done stuff before Beyonce.
Beyonce is the power player, though. You can literally do the shittiest thing in life and have Beyonce clean that up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to be a morally good guy. You got Beyonce. People are going to assume you're morally good because you got Beyonce.
I don't feel like that because
vice versa. Remember the whole Becky with the blonde hair? Like, no, people don't like Jay-Z for the Beyonce factor. Dame Dash, when he went and illustrated that point, that let me knew that man was just bitter. He brought up this man's wife and said he's picky.
We can't say that. We can't say that he was bitter. He's literally he stated a fact. He stated the fact that people in the rap game do not have that level of respect for Jay-Z.
Bro, no, listen, cuz what are you talking about? Look at it. There's so many people in the rap game that feel that way about him, that feel that way about Lil Wayne, and there's so many people that feel the opposite. We're talking about one man's opinion.
We're not talking about one man's opinion.
You can't tell me people don't fuck with Jay-Z in the rap game.
You're talking about Dame Dash's opinion.
I'm talking about Dame Dash. I'm talking about Dame Dash bringing up stuff that I see from other artists. Like Dame Dash saying it was only solidifying the behavior that people have towards Jay-Z. I've seen the behaviors.
You're way smarter than that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm way smarter than that. So you can't count it like I'm only living off of Dame Dash's words.
No, that's what I feel like because if you look,
we're talking about a decade or two of people.
Think about anybody else though in the industry that's actually made something. They all love and rock with Jay-Z. We talking about a man that is from the projects, born and raised in Brooklyn, in the projects. Now he's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, but you can't say from the projects he's still getting love from the projects. He doesn't get love from the projects.
A lot of people, yes, he does. To me, he does. I guarantee you they're all bumping niggas in Paris.
We talking about the East and the East Coast right now. Like, I know what it's like over there. They're not giving Jay-Z that kind of love. You know what I'm saying?
You were in Virginia. Y'all was part of the Confederate Army, nigga. Y'all need to stop it. You don't get no say in that. Y'all was Confederates, nigga.
Yo, because y'all were over there and put Jay-Z on the front line. So we like, y'all, we need to be Confederates.
Yeah, we was smart in Missouri. We was really Confederates, but we act like Union. We was smart. We did the right way.
Let's not even bring up Missouri.
Dude, I cannot solidify just because Dame Dash, since social media started, he's been in attention.
Once again, don't live off of Dame Dash's words. I only have to give him credit for saying what is the behavior of other people.
Okay, well, let's kill it then. Hit me with the FBLA format and tell me some other sources besides Dame Dash.
Okay, we can go with 50 Cent. We can go with let's see.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
You talking about the nigga talking on Instagram with making the jokes and shit?
Yeah, we talking about the dude that calls out everybody. He's not biased to like calling out only the soft speakers. You know what I'm saying? He's calling everybody out.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't agree. We are opposite on this one, my
Okay. I mean, I'm telling you what's going on the East, though. Like, Jay-Z's from the East. He doesn't get love like that. Now, granted, you might be able to make the argument that, like, you don't get love where you're from. That's the only argument that I could see. But, like, we talking about what goes on the East. You look at the underground rappers, they don't show love to Jay-Z. You look at the mainstream East rappers, they ain't showing love to Jay-Z.
Yeah, yes, they do, bro. J. Cole, all of them. They all love them.
You talking about J. Cole, the person that shows love to everybody. He ain't beefed ever.
He for Kanye. He didn't beef, but he came at him.
When?
In one of the songs. You don't remember.
You could call. I want to hear the lines because that boy don't beef with nobody.
Dude, it's just for real, bro. I follow Dame Dash on Instagram, and he literally any opportunity he gets to where he can jump into something, he does it, man. So and again, you bringing up the man's wife, get out of here.
Dude, I'm telling you, she saves him. Like, there's nothing he can like.
What do you mean? She's one of the most detrimental things to him. The two things that almost hurt Jay-Z's career.
Exactly. Think about that. She makes him vulnerable. Obviously she's the key factor. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I stand corrected, world. I just put it together from that is right. That is good. That was.
But I mean, you're making a good argument. What I want to say to like kind of just conclude my argument is that if you don't see it right now, the kind of love that people will show Jay-Z on the East and stuff, you will see that in due time. It's just not available enough to everyone yet. So right now, yeah, there's fair that Cody has a stronger argument when it comes to the love that Jay-Z gets. Give it time, it will come to light, and we'll be able to have this discussion again.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be waiting. I'll tell you that I'm gonna be waiting.
That's what's up.
But more into this topic goes. Because Jay-Z's getting the criticism from Kaepernick and Eric Reed, and some of these guys that are still, kind of thinking there's still more to be, still need the knee and all that stuff. But I can't. I have an issue with Kaepernick. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I have an issue with Kaepernick. And again, I supported his knee, and I thought it was the right thing to do, the right time, and everything. How you boys feel about Kaepernick? You like Cap to current standing? Tell me a little bit about that before I continue.
I got to hear from Taj.
A little bit about what?
Kaepernick taking a knee, timing
yeah,
of it. And...
no post that, because we can all agree, because I remember sitting with you guys at that point.
We all agreed that football player?
No, we all agreed that was the right thing. I want to talk about this post Kaepernick that really has the audacity to call Jay-Z a sellout when this man is really a sellout. Kaepernick, we're talking about.
I want to say number one is, we don't know what Kaepernick has said. I think that there's a lot of
we don't know what Kaepernick said. Eric Reed said something, and then Kaepernick came out and said, "I support Eric Reed." So
but that's the thing. Kaepernick does support Eric Reed.
No, but
he might not subscribe to everything Eric Reed says.
For those who don't know who Eric Reed is, in
this settlement that Kaepernick got with the NFL, I guarantee in the fine print there was something to where you can no longer talk about this. I guarantee you. That's why his ass ain't saying nothing. It's because he got that check.
We speculating on that. We don't know for sure.
Well, why else wouldn't he? I can't. It's all speculation.
Have you seen the documents? we can't
seen
speculate
the documents.
that.
I've just seen the actions since. I've seen the actions before, and I've seen it since. He went from wearing pig socks and cop socks and kneeled to shutting the hell up and grew his afro out.
He did grow that afro out after he started trying to do that Black Power stuff.
Shout out to Nate Davis.
Like, to me, hey, Nick Davis, Nate Davis. But the thing is, though, like, to me, once again, that's like part of the image. You know what I'm saying? That's going back to the Jay-Z being manipulative in his decisions.
100%.
Like Kaepernick 100%. Growing out the hair and all these things. But what I will give Kaepernick credit for, though, is that he did go into, I want to say it was an interview or something that he posted on social media where he was like, I came to a realization. So, like, when we're talking about a realization, you can't expect him to be consistent to the behaviors he had in the past. He obviously had a change of heart. You know what I'm saying?
And, times change. And one thing that Jay-Z said that
I agree with that is true.
Colin, he did his protest. He brought awareness. Everyone knows what's going on. Now it's time to figure out, what are you going to do? What's the person going to do? What can we do as a whole?
So what are you going to do? Are you going to partner with the NFL?
I'm saying, if someone came to me and I got some money, or if I don't have any money, someone comes to me, if someone comes to Josh, someone comes to Cody, says, "Hey, the NFL wants to work with you on A, possibly becoming a part owner in the NFL, and 2, working on social justice. 3, we want you to book all the entertainment for the NFL and other NFL sponsored events." They also talked about some other charity events that they were doing. Oh, my bad. It's just like, who would say no? Who would not do that? Who would not do that?
100%.
Who would listen to people telling them not to do that, because it's counterproductive? Like you guys are saying. Like, I agree. It's counterproductive to not try to move the needle forward. When someone's bringing you an opportunity, you take that opportunity. You
take it.
You don't sit around and say, "Oh, I'm not going to take it." Like, if Jay-Z would have went ahead and performed at that Super Bowl and not went ahead and wanted to partner with it, or wanted to move then I would have a question. Is Jay-Z just out for the money, or does he really want to move things forward? But it seems like to me that even though we don't agree with him making this deal with the NFL, it's still going to move the needle forward. He's going to be in those meetings. Now we're going to have someone in those meetings, and
yep. Boom. And not to mention, so think about it. It's even better again for Black culture is when you have Jay-Z at that meeting table, him being Jay-Z, like Josh says, him being married to Beyonce. They know that he has an effect on their Black audience. You don't think they're gonna involve him? You don't think they're gonna involve? And remember, at the same time, we're not talking about like free, like actual rights, like constitutional rights and stuff. We're talking about an organization. They are. That's what people forget, is that they still are an organization, like Prime Trucking, like Amazon.
And other people don't get to realize that the NFL gets to make their own rules. They don't.
They get
They
to
don't
make their own
have.
rules.
They get to
That's why
make
it's
their
called
own.
a contract. These players sign contracts because there's all this bullshit in it. You'll get fined $10,000 color socks. Like, this is what they are.